Oh my God, you guys come in, sit down and shut at the door. It looks like there is a civil war in Diddy's team. It looks like, as usual, they are throwing the only black woman on his legal team under the bus. You guys, what am I talking about? If you guys have been following this, Nicole Westmoreland got up and walked out in front of the cameras, okay, and told everybody that Diddy's team was pursuing a pardon from Trump. Now, at that time, I even noted that's odd because Mark Agnello said he don't know nothing about that. As far as I knew, he was leading the team. She stood up there and did a press conference talking about Diddy's innocent. The prosecution already researched because they couldn't bring up 70 victims. All those lawsuits are lies. She was doing what she can to go out there and be a soldier for her man. I will say one thing. I thought it was questionable. Why isn't Brian still going out there and saying this? Why isn't Mark Agnello going out and saying this? Because the pardon is politically charged and there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and what
no
lawyer
longer
in this
has a
day and
voice
age
who will pursue
wants to get
justice
involved
for her
in a political
accusation.
fray. In the backlash
As of
from
the
hundreds
Aiken
of
against
millions
Diddy,
of Americans
no
being
expansion
mad
of the
because you made yourself
investigation,
the face
no
of the person
isolation
that is
orders,
trying to get Diddy
no
free.
equipment
Now
access,
Nicole Westmoreland
no suspension
said,
of
"I'm
attorney
Huckleberry," and
communication.
she strode out there and did that. Well, guess what? Less than 24 hours later, after she really put herself on the line for Diddy, Mark Agnello, Brian Still, and people on Diddy's team are putting out official statements saying Nicole doesn't know what she's talking about and they're not involved in that. Y'all, let's get into this. I do want to say this, for every black woman that has a mammy fantasy about saving her King Diddy and protecting him and going out there, I get it. A lot of women of all races got Captain Savo fantasies. I don't know. I guess nobody in your life told you the one that's supposed to be saved, that the man's coming. But okay, fine. You got mommy hero worship savior issues. But let this be a note, because look at the way that Diddy's team is using the black woman to be disposable. And we could argue that she herself is excited to be disposable. But I find this is very, very odd. Okay, they put this directly in People magazine and a bunch of mainstream media outlets. So, you know that Mark Agnello wants us to hear this with the chest. Why do I keep bringing up Mark's name? Because Mark is head of Diddy's legal team. He also did an interview. We'll talk about that over live. He got a new haircut, y'all. We're going to talk about that over live. All right. They said multiple insider sources tell people that Sean Combs' legal team did not reach out to President Trump for clemency, though others in his orbit did. They said with less than 2 months before his sentencing, one of Sean Diddy Cole's attorneys claimed that efforts have been made to secure a pardon from President Trump. Not just efforts have been made, they literally had a press conference. So this wasn't just her. You bump into Nicole in CBS and she's like, yeah, no, this was official. So listen to this. Nicole said, in the videos out there, it's my understanding that we've reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon. Nicole's a member of Cole's legal team, told CNN in an interview that aired on Tuesday, August 5th. However, behind the scenes, that narrative is being disputed. Multiple sources with knowledge of that situation tell people that Diddy's legal team has not made any formal contact with Trump or his administration. Okay, somebody's lying. And who do you think is lying? Now we're going to get into this article, but let me just take you guys on a side note, because there's two things that could be happening. One, they could be throwing the only black woman on his legal team under the bus. And I say that because Diddy has been trying. I won't say that Diddy is a predator and he always leans on women to save him, okay? But Nicole Westmoreland went out there. I thought it was weird that Brian Still and Mark Agnello didn't again. Why are y'all putting her out there? And why is she volunteering to be a slaughter to the lamb? Do you want your face associated with that? You're not going to get the benefit that maybe Mark or Brian still can get by being associated with that. One other thing that could be happening is they literally made a public announcement trying to keep begging Trump, and they got back a definitive, it's not happening. It can't happen. So they slink back in and they're like, because it's going to be too embarrassing. And once again, they use Nicole Westmoreland as a pathy. But let me tell you something. Diddy's legal team is uber coordinator. Mark Agnello might come across as, oh golly shucks, the most likable person next door. He has a really familiar air. He's very likable if you meet him, right? But that's part of like his little stick. But Mark is a legal eagle and he is sharp and he ran a tight ship. You cannot tell me that people, just let Nicole Moreland go on scene or that was all orchestrated. So it makes you wonder what's going on.
And no
But
longer
let's keep
has a
going.
voice
They
who will
said people
pursue
in Diddy's
justice
world
for
and
her
orbit are
accusation.
reaching out to his administration
As of
for
the
a
Aiken
pardon, but
against
not
Diddy,
his legal team.
no
They have
expansion
nothing
of the
to do with it, but
investigation,
they're aware it's
no
happening.
isolation
What
orders,
does this also let
no
me know?
equipment
Well, there also
access,
might be something
no
else going
suspension
on.
of attorney
It has been said
communication.
that Diddy is trying to buy his way out of prison. He is offering money. He's offering money to people to make introductions to people, network to people, threat. But he's offering millions if he can get that pardon. It is illegal to bribe officials for a pardon, and it's illegal to try to pay for a pardon. Those lawyers know that. If Diddy is doing what the streets say he's doing in the way he's getting a pardon, Well, you guys, what does that tell you? Like, honestly, what does that tell? It tells you that he's involved in some mess that could blow up, and Diddy don't care because he's been the untouchable kid so far and they don't want to be involved in it. That's what I think it tells you. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. They said they have nothing to do with it, but they are aware it's happening. Sounds like something illegal might be going on and they don't want their bar licenses mixed up. On how far-formed Columns feels about the as to how Columns feels about the possibility of a pardon with the former president. Westmoreland told CNN he is a very hopeful person, and I believe that he remains hopeful. The White House official told CNN they will not comment on the existence or non-existence of a CHOAS request. On July 31st, Rolling Stone reported that longtime allies of Diddy have approached political operatives, lobbyists, and others with close ties to Trump's circle, and government officials allegedly offering large sums of money in exchange for helping to secure a presidential pardon. 3 people familiar with the discussions told Rolling Stones that at least one of the offers were anyway a lot of money. However, the sources also noted that some of these offers come with strings attached, namely that most of the money wouldn't be paid until a pardon was granted. Now here's the thing. Diddy probably thought he did his real one, because Diddy's is used. What was it? Katie Rocks on Instagram always talks about future faking. Diddy is a future faker like a mug, not just to women but to men too. So a future faker, somebody that like promises something in the future in order to get something from you now, but they have no intention of delivering. A future faker like Diddy, probably knows wait till you get what you want to give the money, but anyone that has a brain knows that Diddy always says he's gonna get money, but then when he gets what he wants, he doesn't give you anything. So Diddy might have screwed himself over with that. I don't know. Anyway, a Diddy source said, I think it's such BS. I don't think any of this is true. 2 other knowledgeable sources claim they also don't believe it's true. But Nicole Westmoreland told Piers Morgan on Wednesday, August 6th, we're laser focused on preparing for October 3rd. You want to do what is right and fair. I think being pardoned would be the right thing to do. We are hopeful, you guys who I believe the part of Die's legal team. That interview did not happen by accident. It had to be set up. It had to be approved. Nicole Westmoreland, as much as I think what she did with Diddy and what Bon on the stand was legally depraved, what Brian Still did, what Mark Agnello did, what all they did, they were very effective, very good, but I think it was morally bankrupt, right? They are not. Especially Nicole Westmoreland, she is not a flaky sort of person. She doesn't do things and be like, oh, what happened? She is very cunning, very calculated. Everybody on Diddy's team is at the top of their game. The fact that this all happened let you know that what Nicole was saying was most likely true. But again, is there a civil war going on? Did Mark Agnello, Brian Steele, Xavier Donald, did they all right just call Nicole Westmoreland a liar? Is something going on? Are they throwing the only black woman under the bus? Or did something go on with that pardon request and they said, yo, the block is, don't even put our names in your mouth. I don't even want to be associated. What exactly happened with that pardon request? My personal thing, I think that they're putting it out to Trump because Trump was like, Trump bend a knee, kiss a butt. Trump likes to see people humiliate themselves. I think it didn't go as promised. I do think that there's something really funny, borderline unethical, maybe even illegal going on with them mixing up, the lawyers mixing up in this whole little pardon request. And that's why they're disting themselves so much. And also, if your legal team is not handling your pardon request, who is? Because we know it's not Christian Justin. Maybe Quincy. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later.